and welcome no upload of LunaTalks. I am broadcasting from my vehicle again, just trying to drum up some inspiration. Well, not so much inspiration, but the willpower, so to speak, to talk, to speak out loud. And then I saw some news the other day that catfish will be no more, but as many of us know, the act of catfishing will forever remain in society. And with that said, like and subscribe. I want to try to build the channel a little bit more. This is for my fellow insomniacs out there. So if you want to keep hearing some loopy stories, just be sure to like and subscribe for me. Make sure I keep them coming. So when I saw the news about catfish ending after all these years, I came up with the idea, let's have a catfish series. Since at one point in time, I seemed to be very susceptible to that. Then, of course, I started to drill down a little bit further and started to think about expectations that we place on each other, expectations placed on genders, and so on and so forth. We can go down that rabbit hole. By the way, I am token on my blood orange cartridge. I love this strain. I may get another one. So far it's been like the best strain. It pulls very light, very easy. It doesn't tear you up. It takes the edge off just a little bit, and that is enough, for me. So, but yeah, as I was saying, so I had an interesting, I thought about one of the most interesting catfish scenarios I've been cast into. And I was on a whole dating thing at one point in time. It was a few years after my divorce. It wasn't soon after. I want to say it was let's see, about 5-6 years after divorce. So friends were encouraging me to create a Match.com profile. Of course, POF, we've all been on there. And this was before Tinder or any of that stuff. So I met someone on one of those sites. We, exchanged a couple emails. Our pictures were up. I did not entertain any profiles that did not have any photos. I just did not have the patience for that. I always feel like if you don't post any type of photo of yourself or something, then you're already hiding something, in my opinion. So, whatever. So, we, liked each other, exchanged a couple of emails, formalities. Hey, how you doing? What do you do for work? What side of town you live on? That kind of thing. What are you looking for? Did that. That was cool. Then he was very quick to ask for what he wanted. He was very quick to ask for what exactly he wanted. He was very transparent. He was very upfront. And that, I think that's what attracted me, because I've always been one for, no matter how good or bad that you may think it is, just give that transparency and allow me to make the decision if I want to move forward or not, so I respected that. He gave, transparency, and after a few emails, he was like, I'd like to talk to you on the phone, ask for my phone number. I'm going to call you this time, whatever. Okay. He followed through, which was another turn on. I was like, oh, okay. And, the one phone conversation turned into another. One day passed, the next day passed, so needless to say, we were digging each other. Again, he took the step forward to say, hey, I would like to take you out, or I'd like us to meet. No pressure. It doesn't have to be like this formal thing or whatever. And I was like, Dave, that's fine. I mean, dates weren't knocking down my door. I mean, I could say it, but I'm not one demanding certain things, excuse me, in order for a date to even happen. So, so I was open to it. I was like, well, what'd you have in mind? Well, I like this restaurant, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go to that restaurant. I was like, you know what? I'm down for that. He put it all together. Date, time, Friday. We both get out of work, get dressed. We're texting each other all day. You excited about tonight? There was no question we weren't going to meet. Okay, great. Excuse me. Get to the restaurant. Excuse me. I was running 10 minutes behind. He knew that. That was fine. Get to the restaurant. Don't hear anything. Hostess is asking me, like, are you okay? Yeah, I hit him up. Still didn't hear anything. I'm like, well, guess maybe I got stood up. So I said, let me wait. Waited like 10 minutes. Still didn't hear anything. Hostess came over to me. You want to give him another call, want to give him another try, because she had his name listed for the reservations. So it wasn't like I'm just standing there randomly. She had his name listed. He really followed through on that, So now it's at the point of like, I'm starting to get worried now, because all the way up until that night, he has followed through on everything he has said and done. So there's no reason for me to question anything, right? So I give him a call this time. No texting, a call. I hear a phone ringing. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Maybe that's coincidence. Even the hostess was looking around. She was like, well, I don't know. No answer. Left the thing. Okay. So I'm walking around. I'm like deciding to myself, like, Ron, like, Luna, you gonna leave? You gotta wait around. You gotta leave. You gotta wait around. Going back and forth. A couple minutes pass by. Then I turn around as if I'm getting ready I go back to want to go back to tell the hostess that I'm gonna leave. And as I turn around to go back to the counter to talk to her, someone pulls up to me in a wheelchair. And the guy in the wheelchair was like, "You're Luna, right?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Hi, I'm Gary." Okay. And we're both standing there in the lobby. And the hostess said, I can show you to his table. And as we're walking, she looked at me like you didn't know, girl? And I didn't, because he never disclosed it. He was transparent about everything else but that. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, I didn't want to be shallow, because as far as looks, he was actually he looked like his pictures. He was a cute dude. He was cute, but it's not like, oh, he's just in a wheelchair. He was in I was like, whoever his photographer was, he should give them a tip, because I would have never known he was in a wheelchair in that capacity. Like, he was pretty much almost chest down disabled. Like, he's, and it was, I don't know. Like, his right hand can function, and he was able to use, like, the joystick to move around like that. And then there were other times where he was fatigued, and he pulled out an apparatus around his throat and maneuvered it with his chin. And I'm like, but then on other occasions, like, I'm talking about as we're sitting there eating, I'm watching him, and he's like able to turn his head on other occasions. It was a lot. It was a lot. It really was. It was a lot. But I was starting to let my guard down. I saw the person that I was starting to be interested in come up in his personality, and then plus I was like, 2 drinks in at this point, and he was a drink ahead of me. So we're vibing, everything is cool, whatever. He takes me back to my car. He was like, tries to make his move. Oh, sit in my chair. I could wheel you to your car. Whatever. No, I'm good. We get to my car, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll talk to you another time or whatever, because I needed to digest all of this. And before I go to my car, he freaking tries to put his hand up my dress. That's why I was like, I'm done. If he didn't do something like that, maybe I would have reconsidered him. But to do something so piggish, I just was like, yeah, you ruined it for me. You ruined it. So, I don't know. Like, would y'all, like, let that slide? Like, about him not telling you about the wheelchair, and would you let that slide? And then if you did, like, would you let him putting his hand up your dress slide? Like, how many chances do you give somebody? I don't know. And then as a woman, I'm expected to let all that slide? Like, no. I can't. This all just baffles me. Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in. Again, like and subscribe, share. But like, how far would you go? Like, that was definitely a catfish situation. He never mentioned about the being in a chair in that capacity. He never, no medical issue, nothing like that, nothing. And I was in my 5K stage, so he knew that I was an active person in that way. So, I don't know, like, have you guys held back information like that from someone, or just omitted things, or just blatantly lie? I don't know. But yeah, thanks for listening. And night.